Hello and welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. Oak City Tech gives their clients an edge over their competition with web and logo design that they make you stand out amongst your competition. They increase your brand awareness, generate leads with SEO and social media presence, then convert those leads into clients so you can make more money. If you will go to oakcitytech.com, send them a note, they will get back with you. Tell Drago we said hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a small business success story from Triangle BNI. BNI is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our little slice of the triangle here is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. If you're not familiar with Central-ish North Carolina. We have about 30 chapters meeting each week, almost 600 members, and our job is to help each other grow our business. And the great lesson today on live TV, live radio, live internet, whatever you want to call it, sometimes your guest just gets sick. And we had a guest planned for you today, Wes Harper. He is with Lightwire Inc. They do computer, they do cabling, they do security, all stuff like that. If you're a fan of the show Naked and Afraid, Wes was on that show a couple of months ago, so we'll have him on the 24th to talk about that. Be a lot of fun trying to understand what life is like when he and his partner Jesse were together and naked for 21 days. My mind goes to the logistics of how many camera people, what do you really get, and they get nothing. But there's always somebody there in case of emergency. But Wes will be here on the 24th to talk about that. So today I'm calling around trying to figure out, okay, how do I save the show? Because I know you probably don't want me talking to you for an hour. So I called my friend Nikki. Nikki, good to see you again today.
Hey, how are you?
Nikki is with the home inspector. You met her a couple of months ago-ish?
Yeah.
Her and her husband, Charlie, have a home inspection company, and Nikki's my go-to person because she and I are ready to talk privately, publicly, locally, or nationally in about 3 minutes. So I was talking to Nikki about 9:45 this morning, and I hung up, and she said, all right, well, if you need me, let me know. So I hung up, went out in the den talking to my wife, Becky, and she said, you need to have somebody on the show that can interview you because you interview people all the time, and you get to tell some of your stories. I'm like, well, that's one of my favorite subjects. So I brought Nikki in, and who knows what we're going to talk about today. So
watch out.
Yep.
I think, not that anybody cares about what I say.
Oh, no, we do.
But I think you did better by getting Nikki.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll pay you the 25 cents later.
While I'm perfectly happy to talk about me for an hour, that's never been a problem. I am looking forward to the interview with Wes. So I'm going to turn the show over to Nikki, and we're going to go wherever Nikki wants to go to today.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Are you ready for this roller coaster, Mr. Mike
again, me talking about me. I'm good for an hour. I got stories.
Like, insert evil laugh here. First of all, I think it has to be said, can we talk about your amazing wife, Becky, and how I always imagine her with, like, a cape. Like, she's like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, super Becky, and she definitely came through again, which is pretty awesome.
She is and for anybody that has a business partner, and then your business partner happens to be your spouse. And we talked about this with you and Charlie as well. There's a fine line. They have to know their role in your life because you can't dump stuff on them that they don't know how to handle and process. And Becky is my idea sounding board. I don't talk to her in great detail about coaching or anything else I'm doing, but I run ideas by her. Hey, what do you think? And this is what she came up with today. And I would have never thought of this because this is a great idea, I thought. But yeah, so that's her role in my life as a small business owner is I just bounce stuff off her. And sometimes she's like, try again. Or, oh, that's a good idea. And I trust her because she won't. Let me back up here.
So, watch out, Becky.
No. She's fine. She's fine. I'm one of those many males that has trouble telling colors. And I took, we're in Atlanta, and I was working at Turner Sports. So I think this was 1994.
Okay.
I went to St. Petersburg, Russia for the Goodwill Games.
Oh,
Ted Turner started those because the U.S. and Russia were boycotting each other's Olympics. So he thought, man, you know what? Let me put on an international event. So I went over there as part of the PR team. And I was over there for 3.5 weeks. And so I pulled all the clothes out that I was going to wear, and Becky put a list together like Garanimals.
Oh.
Because I don't know what, sometimes I can tell the color of the shirt or the pants. And if I can, sometimes I can't match them.
Yeah.
I know white goes, I know anything goes with jeans now. Okay. So I don't need any emails on that. I get that. So, but I had a green suit that was gray. And I told Becky, if you write gray, I won't wear it because I won't see it.
Okay.
So write green suit because that's what my eyes saw. So I had a list of Garanimals that, that basically this shirt with this logo goes with these 3 pants.
Now, out of curiosity, because not very many men would be comfortable wearing a green suit. So in your eye, was it like bright green or like olive
No,
green?
it was kind of the color of this clock right here. If you can see the background behind the numbers, it was.
Which, for those who can't see the clock is black and gray.
And that doesn't do any good, does it? Oh, is it really?
It is black and gray, yes.
See? I told you.
All right. And on that note.
Go. But yeah, so I trust Becky, and I told her when we first got married, I said, I will trust you I will wear anything out there what you tell me to wear. But the first time you send me out looking like a moron, I'm never listening to you again. And it's been 30, coming up on 34 years. Wow. And never been a problem. So no, I trust her with anything and everything.
Well, she does an awesome job.
This will go. Because it was her job to start wearing the vest. Because when I changed from pest control to business coaching, I didn't want to wear a logoed golf shirt anymore. Yeah. And I refused to wear a tie. And if you invite me somewhere and tell me there's a tie and coat involved, I'll wear a collarless shirt. Yeah. Not the button-up one, but one of those pullovers with collars, and a jacket, because I didn't wear a tie to my folks' funeral, and I'm not wearing a tie to your event. But I'll thank you for inviting me. But so yes, with Becky, she tells me something and I go with it. So yes.
I love it. You know, it's so important that your partner be that yin to your yang, and they be that strength to where your weaknesses are and vice versa. So it's awesome to hear that. So the question that everyone is probably dying to know, J-Lo or Shakira?
J-Lo. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I was driving home last night, Nikki and I went to a Super Bowl party. Our friend Ryan Christian, who's a CPA in our BNI group, had a Super Bowl party, and I went. Becky was home; she's not feeling good, and Nikki and Charlie showed up, and our buddy Joe Aiello, who's our insurance agent. And I was driving home, so I didn't get to see halftime, but you enjoyed it, and I've been reading some of the crap that people talk about afterwards. But yeah, J-Lo, I'm good. I'm good.
She is beautiful. Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Mike Manning, a lot of us know you as Mike and Mike Manning. And then, of course, we've recently really gotten to know you as Mike Manning, the business coach. Yes. I know Trendy likes to call you Coach Mike with the whistle. And then, of course, you know, I know you as husband to Becky, who is amazing. We know you as grandfather to Oliver, and those who didn't look up to see his expression. Can you say, see
Oliver's
this?
The best. We video chatted yesterday. Our son, Travis, it's his son. He and his wife, Sarah, it's their son, and they live in Charlotte. So they video chatted us, whatever it is. It just shows up on my phone. I swipe up, and I'm good. I have no idea what app it is, so. And I don't need to know because I don't know how to call them with it. So.
Just instant contact to him.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyways, he woke, this is about 1:30. Oliver got up from his nap. So Travis and Oliver are upstairs in Oliver's bedroom, and they have to close the door to keep him there. And so we're talking, and he's grasping now to look at the phone. He's 18. Was he 18 months a couple of weeks ago? Something like that. Where are we? Okay. February. Yeah. So 18 months on January 28th. And he's very gifted, and he has a huge head. He went to the doctor the other day, and his head measurement's off the chart, so we were howling about that.
Oh, my gosh.
Howling about that. But the doctor was impressed with how many words Oliver knows and can repeat. So you have to be careful what you say in front of him.
Yes.
So we're talking, and he grasps the phone because he can look at the phone and see me and Becky, but he's still trying to figure out, how come you guys aren't here? So Travis had videoed Becky Saturday because I was out working, and he videoed her at home. And the 3 of them were talking, Travis and Oliver and Becky were talking. And Oliver went to hug the phone. And Becky kept talking to Oliver, and we didn't think of it. But his ear was right at the speaker. So it kind of hurt his ear. And he jumped back a little bit, kind of started whining. And it took him a while to figure out. So yesterday when he leaned into the phone to give us a hug, we whispered softly that we love him and he's awesome. So, but Yeah, this grandparent thing is, and I talk about it every week, so people know this grandparent thing. It is the bomb. I love that. I think we're going to see him next Saturday. So yeah,
Oh,
so we'll go. I'll get and he's 30 pounds now.
wow.
Yeah, so I have to be careful with my
Yeah.
back. I refuse to quit picking him up. So
Yeah.
I have to do some maintenance work before I go and maintenance work on my back when I get back. But I refuse to quit picking him. I'm just not going to not pick him up. Not going to happen.
Well, I think you know a couple amazing chiropractors just in case
I
you
get
need
Dr.
to.
Step's
Yes.
been on the show, and Dr. Ashley, my chiropractor, she was on the show. She was early on, but I just
Yeah.
refuse to, until he doesn't want to be picked up, I'm going to
Yeah.
pick him up. So
Now, there's a whole bunch of things that I definitely want to talk to you about today, just because holy crap. I mean, how many times does someone get the opportunity to turn the tables on you
like I said, I'm
and to
fine
take
with
that control? So, I definitely want to get into the jobs and what you've done in your life, because I've mentioned it to you and Trinity before, but we get approached by business coaches all the time, seeing that we are a small business ourselves. And one of the first questions I ask them is, what business have you successfully brought to light? And if their answer is blah, 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 none, I immediately shut down, just because, I'm not a big fan of that phrase. For those that can't do teach, I feel like you have to have the experience to know what to set people up for and their expectations. But before we get to that,
Yes.
we're talking about Oliver. We're talking about Travis. We're talking about your amazing son, Cam.
Love my sons too, but Oliver's the best.
How did you meet?
They know their place. I'm not kidding you. I'm not saying anything I haven't told them.
That's not going away.
Cameron,
it stays on the internet.
I know. Well, it's fine. They've heard it from me. This is nothing new comes out of my mouth. Something they haven't heard. So Cameron, our youngest son, it's like the royal family. Every time Travis has a grandson, Cameron just gets knocked one rung down. But he knows that.
I feel like you should just get a T-shirt made of like favorites and just have them listed.
It's Oliver, and everybody knows. Becky and I agreed to tell people Oliver's ahead of each of us in the other's life, and we're good. I'm good with that.
You guys are so cute.
I'm telling people this grandparent thing's the bomb. Yeah.
We are not ready to be at that point.
Right. Well, yeah, you have to be ready. Yeah.
Very excited to get to that point.
You can do anything. I'd take him wherever I want to take him. So.
I'm very excited to love something and give it back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super excited about that.
But I do change diapers.
Not excited about that.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. So.
Speaking of all in.
Yes.
How did you and Becky meet? And would you each tell this story the same way?
We tell most all the story the same way, yes.
Now, would she say that really, truly?
Oh, yeah, because we've talked about this. We met in Austin, Texas. So I graduated from the University of Tennessee in 1983. My first job out of college was at the University of Texas in the women's athletic department doing sports PR. And my boss at Tennessee knew my future boss at Texas. I went sight unseen. I'd never been west of the Mississippi. I thought, right out of college, load up the car and go. So I drive, and it takes me a long time to get to the point of the story, but I'll get there because it's my show. So I leave Raleigh. I'm going I-40. I go through Nashville, go through Memphis.
I thought it was my show today.
It is, yeah. But
okay.
I'll give it back to you in a minute when it's your show. So, and I get to Arkansas, and then I get on I-35 in Dallas, head south to Austin, right? And I'm kind of driving around, getting near Austin. It's like, I think I'm lost. There's some hills. Texas is supposed to be flat. What's going on here? So my first job was at the University of Texas in 1983. I got there, I think, in late August or early September. And Becky had been there about a year. She graduated college from Southwest Texas, which is now Texas State, in 1982. By the way, I sent her family has a text chain. There's about 11 of us on there. And I sent out a note yesterday saying, I'd forgot to, starting of the new year, I forgot to commend my wife. This is now the 8th decade she's lived in. She looks great.
Oh, and you're still alive?
Oh, yeah, because
wow.
She was born in 59. She turned 60 in September. So she was born in 1959. So the math and I was born in 61. So I tell people we're a decade apart. That just pisses her off. So anyway, she had graduated college in 82, and she'd taken a job with a international freight forwarding company in Austin. And she'd been there a little over a year. And then I get there, and it turns out we run with the same crowd for about a year, but never were at the same place. So if you've ever been to Austin, Texas, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you've never been to Austin, Texas, you need to go visit. So there's a restaurant called the Oasis. It's on State Road 2222, overlooks Lake Travis, our oldest son. Okay, you follow me now? Lake Travis, Travis County. It's pretty easy to name him. Was at a stoplight one day. Becky goes, "Hey, what do you think of the name Travis?" I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, I thought you were about to say he got created at a stoplight
No, that was
in
on
Texas.
a waterbed with a bottle of peach schnapps, but that's for another
Nice.
story. So yeah, she'll love that. Uh, so anyways, we're at this place called the Oasis, and it was Sunday afternoon, and there's probably 15, 20 of us there. And I'm sitting there looking back. I don't know why I was looking back up the deck for where people walk down, because we're down a couple levels. This restaurant sits, it's got to be 10 stories above Lake Travis. It
Wow.
is beautiful. The sun sets over Lake Travis. Everybody stands up, gives it a round of applause, sits back down,
That's
orders
awesome.
another round of drink. It is a great place. And I just happened to be looking up, and there was my future wife, who I had not met yet, walking down the steps. And I'm just watching and watch. It's like, please come sit by us. Please come sit by us. And I tell people, I have no idea where she was going, but we were going to meet that day. She could have been going to another guy. We were going to meet that day somehow, somewhere. And she just kept walking. I'm like, all right, this is pretty good. And so she came to our group, and she walked past me, and I didn't say anything yet. I'm like, all right, okay, so we're good now. We have friends, Lynn, Brad, a bunch of friends there. And everybody was going over to Lynn's house. This probably was about 4:30 by the time Becky got there. She'd had a evening the night before, gone out with some friends. Let's just say it that. So
Okay.
needless to say, I was at the restaurant a lot earlier than she was. So, and I was not going back to Lynn's because the next day the NCAA track and field championship started at University of Texas, and we all had to be there early in the morning. And somebody said, "Are you going over to Lynn's house?" I said, "No, I can't. We got the track and field starting." Totally prepared not to go. So Becky's sitting behind me, and the story she tells was she hears the voice. It's like, okay, I got to meet who's attached to this
You
voice.
do have an amazing
So that's her.
voice.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so that's her part of the story. And mine was, I saw her walking down. I still know what she was wearing that day.
Oh.
And we're getting ready to leave, and I walked over to her and said, "Hi, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you." Because like I said, she wasn't leaving before we met. And she said, "Hi, I'm Becky." So we started talking, and she said, "Are you going to Lynn's?" And before I could say anything, in which I wasn't going, I think before I could say anything, she said, I'm going to Lynn's. Are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Wouldn't miss that for anything, right?" Oh, yeah. So anyways, as I told people, we got there about 3 hours. We got there about 3 hours apart. All right, I was there 3 hours, at least, maybe not 3 hours before she got there. This parking lot there is massive. I think it can hold 500 cars. This restaurant's huge, right? So we walk up the steps, walk out of the parking lot, walk to the car, park right next to each other.
Oh, it was fate.
It was, right? And as I gave this talk, how we met at Toastmasters about a month ago, and I titled the story, "I Fell in Love 3 times that day." First time I fell in love is watching her walk down the steps, because I'm telling you, I don't care where she was going. She could have been going to her husband and 3 kids. It didn't matter. We were going to meet.
Home wrecker.
I didn't care. I was going to meet this lady one way or the other. So that was the first time I fell in love. So we get to our cars, and we go to Lynn's, and we're there, and some guy's scoping on her. I'm like, okay. So I talked to our friends, Lynn and Brad. I said, okay, this crap has to stop, okay? I need you to get this guy out of here. I need to get to know this girl. And I had and still have zero game with picking up women. I just walk up and say, "Hi, I'm Mike. You want to talk? You want to whatever."
It doesn't have to be
I
really harder
had
than
none.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was going to talk to her. So I walk up, and we're chatting for a few minutes at the house. And I got up all the great nerve to come up with this classic line. And I said, are you available to go out to dinner one day next week?
That was your great line.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you,
it's
I
a
got
great
no
line,
game.
but like.
That's what I wanted to know. I don't have any
Straight
game.
into the point.
I don't have any game, and I know that. I've told people that. And it was very apparent in my high school days, very apparent. So. And she looked at me, and that I fell in love the second time that day when she looked at me and she said, "Why, do I look hungry?" Oh, yeah.
Smart
Give me
woman.
sassy any day of the week. Any day of the week. So I'm like, "No, not right now, but, you might be in a few days." So. And so we talked a little more. She finally agreed. And then the third, and I said, "Well, of course, can I get your phone number?" Because back then there were no cell phones yet. This was 1984. What is this, 84?
Did the Earth exist then? Were there
Barely.
dinosaurs,
Barely, yeah.
still walking the Earth?
Yeah, we rode dinosaurs there if we didn't have a car. So,
Okay.
so this would have been
Flintstone.
late 80, May of 84, May of 85. I can't even remember that. Anyways, so I said, well, I'm gonna need your phone number. I'll give you a call and we'll, set up maybe Thursday or so. And it's because Thursday was my birthday. And I thought, how about a birthday dinner for the guy? And I fell in love.
So many places I could go there, but I'm not going to.
Absolutely. Believe me. There's another story about that. Not that, but yeah.
Oh, Becky's going to love this.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's all true. She knows all these stories. So there's no filter with me. So she's heard all these.
Nope.
And so the third time I fell in love with her that day was, I said, can I get your number? And she handed me her phone number, 6 digits.
Oh,
Again,
sneaky.
Love sass. Give me that any day of the week. And so I looked at it and went, she goes, figure out the 7th one, give me a call. So Monday, the next morning at work, I started dialing. I think the last number was a 5, but she could have given me the last 6 numbers and not the first one or not the third one. It didn't matter. I was calling all of Austin, all of Travis County to find this woman. It wasn't a problem. So then I called her and we went out for dinner on, I think it was Thursday night because that was my birthday. So we get back to her house and here's so we get there and she said, she goes, hey, you want me to put on some music? I'm like, sure. She goes, you like Johnny Mathis? First time I ever lied to my wife. I went, sure. Not a Johnny Mathis fan, but she could have put any music on. I didn't care because I wouldn't go anywhere. I just wanted the time with her. It didn't matter. So yeah, so we'd run with the same crowd for a year and people kept telling us, oh, I know you two have met. I'm like, dude, I'd have remembered.
Yeah.
I'd remember, but yeah.
You would have definitely remembered.
Yeah. But yeah, when she answered, she looked hungry. They gave me 6 numbers. Like, oh, so gotta marry this girl.
I feel like you do a great job with surrounding yourself with very fun, spunky, spicy women, and I think Becky
they are
really
all ball busters. If I learn nothing, I don't hang out with people I don't learn from. So I either have to be entertained or educated with you, and I am certainly entertained. All the best bosses I have had are female. And they've all been confident. They're like, here's how you do it. Awesome. Here's what you do. I'm not taking crap from anybody. This is what we're going to do. And my mom was like that. And so I'm all about that. If you're weenie and whiny and can't make up your mind, we are going to talk for about 8 seconds and I'm gone. So.
I'm a big believer that birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
And it's,
just give me busting chops any day.
You have to love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love that story, and I wish we could talk more and more about you and Becky and your family and Oliver, but we should probably talk about you and your business and how you got to that point.
Yeah, I'm happy talking about the family, but go ahead, your show.
Yeah, I know. So Wired to Change.
Yes.
First of all, I love the logo, love the name of the company. I know Becky and Trinity were a huge part of creating that for you guys. Yep. One of the things I said before we got in the segment was, when a business coach tells me they didn't start a business successfully or even unsuccessfully, but you have to have the experience, I kind of lose interest in them. So I would love for the world to know how you started your business and how you got to Wired to Change.
My brother has been a serial small business owner for, I think the last time he worked for anybody might have been 1993. He just got tired of working for people. And he and I had been talking for a while about starting a business together. This goes back to probably 2005, maybe. We were living in Daytona Beach, and we just kept talking because our skill sales are completely different. Okay. What you see with me is what you get. I'm the sales, the marketer, the networker, the talker. I hire people, I train people, I do the cleaning, the spraying, whatever. And he's the businessman. He makes the numbers work, and he loves payroll and taxes and insurance.
Oh, wow.
And he wants to sit behind a computer all day, says he's got enough friends. And I wake up every morning like, I get to meet some more friends today. So it worked out great. And I had started in Daytona Beach. You're getting ready to buy a business and you have somebody you trust, please listen to them. I bought a coin laundromat that I shouldn't have bought because my brother gave me 3 red flags on what not to run through. And I ran through all 3 of them because I wanted to own my own business. It was 50 miles from the house. Wow. It was overpriced. And then the economy took a dump in 2009, which nobody saw coming. And I thought laundromats wouldn't be affected by that because you still had to clean your clothes.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that.
But as I started talking to people that were clients but weren't anymore, or customers that weren't anymore, they started doing laundry at family and friends' houses
Okay.
and working deals like that. So I'm like, and I get that, but should not have bought the company. Anyways, so if you have somebody who's giving you good advice, please take it, because there's somebody you have to trust, and if they tell you something, you have to do that. But you have to trust them completely, and they have to know their role in your life. If you tell me not to do this, I'm not going to. I'm trusting you to be honest with me.
Yeah.
And I should not have done that. So anyways, after I sold that business, and we laughed a little bit more about that, we moved back up here. I grew up here in Raleigh, and we moved back here in 2009. And I was working at AMF Bowling Center over in Durham. Anybody bowls over there, love the bowlers over there, had a blast. About 2012, my brother and I had long conversations finally about doing a business together. We found a commercial cleaning company, got that started, sold that last year. And in the meantime, I think about a year and a half ago, started a pest control company because my brother and his wife own a residential property management company. So we thought, hey, as long as we're in the house, how many other things can we do for them? So painting, carpentry, pest control, all the stuff we could do. So we sold both of those companies last year, and I thought, you know what? I'd like to get together. I'd like to work and help people start their own businesses. So that's when Trinity and I met. Trinity French, if you remember, she's on the show a while back. She's a realtor with Hunter Rowe. And the reason why we work well together is her background is hiring and training most of the Hunter Rowe real estate agents in the market. She has hired and or trained. And before that, she did training and sales seminars for insurance companies. And so that's her background. My background was actually running businesses. So we meshed well together. We got along. We both had the same goals. We worked at the same pace. So it just worked out well. And we've been doing that for, I think officially almost a year it'll be. And we wanted to come up with a name, and we sat at Barnes and Noble in Briar Creek one Tuesday, I think it was. And we sat there for 5 hours talking about everything. And we're coming up with a name. What do we want? We don't want business coach in there because that's like boring. So we're trying to figure out something. It's like, well, people who get into small business, they're looking for change. Are they wired to change to get in this? And we're going through all these things. They're wired to change had not been put together yet. So I get home that night. Becky said, how's it going? And again, here's her role in my life. We're sitting there talking, and we got trying to come up with a name. We've got all these things. And she goes, I just call it Wired to Change because you guys are. I'm like, son of a. So it is Wired to Change with the number 2. So if you want to go check it out at wiredtochange.com, you'll see a lot about us there. And she and I have also started a podcast. We do 2 each week. And you were on last week.
Yes.
And so yours drops tomorrow morning.
Yes.
But it's been a lot of fun. I love helping I love just sitting and talking with people, just spitballing ideas. Had somebody I sat with last week looking to make a career change into full-time. Their business is their side hustle right now.
Okay.
But they're just about ready to, the other thing's about ready to go away. We got a good buyout. We're looking to do this full-time. Yeah. And just kind of spitballing things to do on how to scale, because they're getting 35 hours a week back to grow their side hustle. Okay, so what does that look like?
Yeah.
I don't, be happy to tell people I don't know everything, but I know a number of things on startup, marketing, how to plan some things and putting that together. And Trinity with her operational side is wonderful. So that's why we work so well together. But I enjoy it because I just want to help people. And I'll sit and chat. I'll tell you anything. I'll give away all the good stuff. And then if you become a client, great. If you don't, that's fine. But I know mine's coming, so I don't worry about it.
I think that's one thing I really adore the most about you is I'm a true believer in giver's gain. And a lot of people I think they know how to say that, but they don't know what that actually means. And I feel like you really truly get that, where, when you and I talk, it's 90% about, hey, how can we help you? How can we help XYZ people? And 10% of it is about you. Because let's be honest, you do want a little bit back, but you spend 90% of your time actually wanting and trying to help other people. And you don't do it to be greedy. You do it because that's how you're wired. And I adore that. And I've been to a Wired to Change seminar
Mhm.
where we got to set goals. And
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys, if you guys have not had a chance to attend one of their seminars, please do. For us, if nothing else, we had not taken the time to actually do our business goal. We had not taken the time to set our goals, which, looking back, I'm going, that was probably really dumb of us to not take the time. But you just get so busy, and you forget to make
Yeah.
that a priority. And if nothing else, to have that time that was set aside for us, to have access directly to you, to kind of help us walk through and put the language and things that we hadn't thought of. It has helped us so much moving into 2020.
Well, thank you. And that's the struggle with small business owners. You're so busy working in the business, you can't work on it. So if you and Charlie are inspecting homes all day long, who's going to network, who's going to market, who's going to do the books, who's
Yeah.
going to do proper insurance? Oh, one of our trucks got a problem, so we got to swap something out. Who's going to do that? So things like that, people don't budget in, and they don't understand what their time is worth.
Yeah.
And we try to work with people. If there's something you don't want to do or don't like to do, you got to sub that out. Because if your time, like you and I are pretty much built the same way, we're networkers and marketers.
Yeah.
That's where our time should be. We should not be behind a computer 4.5 hours a day doing other things,
No.
because then we can't help grow the business. But you need to sit down and have an honest talk with yourself on, I'm not good at that. I don't like to do that, but I know it's going to cost me $140 a month to sub that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's going to be 10 hours a month, so the only question I would ask you back is, with those 10 hours you just now got back, what are you going to do with that? Oh, I could do this, this, and this. I'm like, exactly. So with every client you get is worth $500 to you, but you're paying out 140, but I just got you 10 hours, and every 3 hours you get a client. You just picked up 3 new clients, $1,500, cost you 140. Let's do some simple math and just work at it that way, and just try to help people to understand what you are good at and where your time should be. Okay, we need to be looking at that. What's most valuable? What's going to make your company move forward?
Yeah.
And so I enjoy that part of it. And most of the people we talk to struggle on, like with most small business owners, they struggle with the process and the procedures,
Yeah.
and they need an accountability partner.
Accountability is key.
You got to have thick skin, people, and
Yeah.
take some advice. When it's somebody you trust and they say, Nikki or Mike, you've got to stop doing that, because here's what you're taking yourself away from, or you've been doing this for 9 months, it's not working, let's look at doing something else. You've got to trust them to do that, because you're not the smartest person. We are our own worst critics, and we are our own
Absolutely.
worst accountability partners. Because how many times have we looked at each other? Wednesday, I'm going to finish that up, right? Next thing you know, it's March. What happened on Wednesday? I was just going to finish that up Wednesday.
There's
And
a
now
Wednesday
March
in
is here.
March.
Exactly. So yeah. So you have to understand what you do well and what you don't. And if you are the ultimate marketer, then that's what you need to do for your company. If you have a landscaping company and nobody cuts grass like you do, then you keep cutting grass and you find somebody to help you market the company. But what is your strength? And a lot of times, small business owners, I've got 18 things to do today. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because 14 of them aren't going to matter if you don't do the first 4. For the other 14 aren't going to matter.
And I think all those are really valid points, because it's so important to, one, make a list.
Yes.
And I used to laugh at that, because I used to be like, man, I'm not going to write down my list. Like, that's silly. It's all inside my head. But if nothing else, I found that for me to be able to cross something off my list and know that it's done and completed. And I know that was something that you and Trinity had said, Nichole, why aren't you writing down what you're trying to get done?
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Just such a simple little thing changed.
Life is easier on paper.
Yeah.
And I think it was at Wine and Wisdom last month, I think it was Scott, told us that you need to think on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get it down on paper and you look at it, you're going to look at that list and go, I don't need to do those last 4 things.
Yeah.
In your mind, you're thinking, well, it's one of the things I got to do. And then you look at it and go, that's going to take 20 minutes. I can do that Saturday morning while I'm drinking coffee. These 3 things I have to get out of the house to go meet people to do. So let me do that. But when you get it on paper and you look at it, the paper will tell you. You just write it down, no preconceived notions, just write it down and then look at it. And that paper will tell you what you need to do and what you're supposed to be doing and
Oh,
the things
well.
you have to do today and the things you'd kind of like to do today.
Is it sad that the stubbornness inside of me is going, I don't listen to no stinking piece of
Mhm.
paper. So like that's a constant
Yes.
battle that I'm constantly facing.
Yes.
So you've really kind of gone into a lot of what my next question for you would be. But what are your tips for success?
We were talking about this the other day, or when you were on our podcast, we're talking about our successes and failures. And again, you have to be a student of you.
Yeah.
You have to put it aside like, well, I can do 14,000 things goodly.
Of
No, you
course.
can't. You can't do that. And I learned, I've done 2 businesses by myself, 2 businesses with my brother, and 1 with Trinity. And the 2 with my brother and 1 with Trinity, way better than by myself. What I've learned is I have to have a partner. I need this all day long. I need the talking. When I grew up playing youth tennis, and I love doubles better than singles because I had a partner. There was teamwork, there was strategy, there was talking. I love that. I'm boring by myself. I've heard all my bad jokes. I don't want to sit at home all day. I'm not any fun. I hate it. I've got to be out with people talking, spitballing, coming up with stuff. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So that's what I've learned. So now I only put myself in those positions. There's a couple other things I want to get at, and I know I've got to have a partner to do that. So, okay, let's work on a couple more things. This podcast we're doing right now, could not do it by myself. Amnon, because I come into this studio every Monday morning, and Amnon's, it's all set up for me to walk in and sit down. But
Yeah.
that's the partnership that I needed. And I tell people I could do it if I started this podcast at home on my computer on Skype, and you were my first guest. It would have sucked royally. The audio would have been horrible. With my luck, the internet would have gone out, and it just wouldn't be any good. We'd have had 6 people watching, 3 friends of mine, 3 friends of yours,
Yes.
and it would have never gotten anywhere. But Jim Bowdish introduced me to Amnon. I needed that partnership. Trinity and I do a podcast that we produce at Drago, who owns Oak City Tech, sponsor of the show. Thank you, Drago. And we go to his studio because there's room for 2 people to sit. In this one, there is, but not as much. And now we're starting to bring in a guest, so there's a 3rd person.
Yeah.
But we needed Drago's partnership. I needed Trinity because I can talk for an hour, not a problem. But
No
not
way.
everybody's going to want to listen every week. So Trinity and I work well together, but we needed the Drago part of it again for the
Yeah.
partnership. So that's what I learned. And when you learn to acknowledge what you don't do well, because anybody that says I'm good at all that is lying.
Mhm.
And anybody that's ever told you I've started 8 businesses and they've all been home runs, they're lying. Just admit it, man. That laundromat just about wiped my ass out because I blew through 3 red flags and my brother told me don't do that. And I have not made that mistake since. But you have to be successful. You have to be honest with yourself. Go read about all the successful people, whether it's business, sports, politics, literature, whatever. They'll tell you what made them successful is they realized where they needed help. If you're not a good detail person, get a detail person. If you're a great detail person, get yourself a talker. But you got to understand that. And the successful business owners understand, here's where I fit. This is my wheelhouse. I love it. I do it as good as anybody, but I need help with this, this, and this. And then you go hire that. But you got to acknowledge yourself. Well done.
Can we please put you on camera for like one podcast? Like I think
Oh.
the world needs to know you and see you because you're just like you're.
There I am.
There he is. They need the
are
voice,
you?
yeah.
Yes.
They
You're
just need the voice. They just need to know the microphone's coming down. Here's God's voice talking. There's no face.
But I think that's one of the things I really do admire a lot about you is one, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you know me. If I
Oh, yeah.
didn't
You'll
like
tell
you,
me.
I would say hi,
Yeah.
bye, and
If my shirt and
walk
vest didn't
away.
match, you'd tell me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I really do. I do look up to you as a mentor, and I love that you admit to your mistakes. But most importantly, the fact that you have learned from them. You know, with us and our 3 boys, it's
Yeah.
You know, like we had one the other day who has caused $2,000 worth of damage to our car, and it was not his fault, but he didn't own up to his mistakes.
Yes.
And so he's being punished because of not owning up and not learning. And so I love that that's pretty much what you preach about. But you also preach about surrounding yourself by people that are smarter than you.
Oh, yeah.
But they have to have the same core values. Like you wouldn't connect with someone who is very greedy and all about them. Like they have to have that giver's gain. Your core has to match. And if your cores don't match, you're not really going to get a lot from each other.
Yeah. I am drawn to people that I learn from. Whether it's how to tell a funny joke, how to work a third of this equipment, which I have no interest in learning.
A lot of buttons.
But I'm learning stuff from Amnon when I'm posting my stuff online now. And when I first showed up here, I knew none of that. But I learned that from Amnon. And he and I, after we quit laughing about my limited skills with technology, I learned what I could do and what I was interested in doing, what I wanted to do. And he goes, you should be doing this. I'm like, man. And next week, Mike, you should be doing this. And I'm like, man. And then 4 or 5 weeks later, pretty soon I started doing it, realized I could do it. But I'm drawn to people that I learn from. And I've told people, if you walk in a room and I'm the smartest person in the room, dude, you're in the wrong room. But you have to, somebody's better than you.
Absolutely.
Somebody's smarter than you. Somebody's funnier than you. They're taller, they're younger, they're richer. It doesn't matter. But who cares? If you like yourself and your spouse loves you and your kids think you're cool and your business is going right, life's good, well, who cares? I mean, oh my God, there's enough out there for everybody to get their slice of the pie. Nobody can have it all, except Google and Amazon, but they're going to prove us wrong one day, I'm sure. But no, I couldn't service every client that needed a business coach in the Triangle. You guys could not inspect every home.
No.
You just can't. So no, set your goal. I want this. You guys wanted 6 home inspectors. You want to do 6 inspections a week.
6 a week, 24 a month. Yep.
Right. That met your number. So you don't need to be the one, we do 212. Who cares? Who cares?
Would love that, but
Find what you want. Don't worry about what your neighbor's making. They could be in debt. They got 2 BMWs in the driveway, bigger house. They could be in debt and you don't know it. They could be miserable.
Yeah.
Find what you want to do and just do it and hell with everybody else. If that makes you happy, making $82,000 a year or $38,000 a year, doesn't matter. Just do that.
Well, and I think it's really awesome too that, because I've seen you out at networking events, you don't shy away from the other business coaches.
No.
You go up to them, you shake your hand.
We've had them on the show.
And I think that's awesome because we do the same way with home inspectors, but I'm always a little surprised sometimes when there's one in particular and we were at a networking event and they were literally avoiding us. And like every time I came to them, they made tried to skedaddle away. But I love that you embrace your competition, whether you see them that way or not, but it really is just bettering yourself.
Yeah, we sold our pest control company to a competitor in BNI. Met
awesome.
Phil one day and said, hey, we're looking to sell. And we talked. And matter of fact, he's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks.
Oh, is he? Cool.
Yeah. But Bill Davis, business coach, has been on the show. Scott Moore, business coach, been on the show. Joe Navarro, business coach, been on the show. I don't care. There's business. Trust me. Those guys got stuff going on and there's still clients out there to get. Not a problem. You may do the same thing. So what? You may do different things. You may do different things in different areas.
Yeah.
Bill Davis works with clients way further along in their business life than I want to work with. I love startups. Fine. Yeah. If I meet somebody that's got an $18 million company and they're doing change this and change, I'm like, here, call Bill. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, so I got no problem with that. And again, you got to realize who you are and what you are. And just quit making up things. We're all guilty of that. I did that for years. Oh, I could do. I don't want to do it now.
Well, that kind of goes like you really have to know your niche. Yeah. And more importantly, you also have to know what you don't do and what you don't specialize. Kind of like what you're saying with Bill.
Details and technology.
Yeah. Ugh. It's perfect.
Killing me. That's why I'm partnered with him, not on this show.
You're a smart
because he
man.
loves those. Yeah.
Yes.
If something happened to the equipment right now and this picture went black, I would have no idea. I would be rebooting the computer. I'm looking for the outlet to plug it back in or something.
Turn it on and turn it off. That's the magical answer.
But find people that but it goes back to your point. You got to be wired a lot same. And that's why Trinity and I, And that's why my brother and I worked so well. We could care less who got the credit when the business did good because we didn't care. We both just wanted to cash the paycheck and say the business is growing because we wanted to keep growing it, employing people. That's what we wanted to do. And we could care less if the business made $2 million and somebody said, "Hey, congratulations." We'd both go like, "Yeah, we worked hard." I just don't care. Trinity and I, again, wired the same. We want to move at the same pace. The goals are the same. We bring different skill sets. I'm 22, 23 years older than she is. She's from Michigan, newly married. I'm from North Carolina, got a grandkid. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
See things completely different. That's a lot of fun to look at two things go. Well, it's like the green clock. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get over the brown shirt.
Stop. It's not.
I'm like, brown. Is it brown?
I think it's purple. I have no idea.
You totally made me go, huh?
I know it goes with the vest. That's all I know. So you people just find something else to talk about.
Oh, man. So I don't want to go over our time. Do we have?
We're good.
Okay, cool,
We're
cool.
Yeah.
We have plenty of time left. Good.
Like a lifetime for me and you.
Yes, this is perfect. So just out of curiosity, because I know we talked about the Super Bowl a little bit and what your preference was, J-Lo or Shakira. Any favorite commercials that came up?
I saw the Bill Murray commercial. That was good. And Groundhog Day, I'm good with that. I did like, there was one early on, I think it was before you and Charlie got there. It was the McDonald's commercial where they showed celebrities' favorite McDonald's meals, like Magic Johnson's was the fish fillet and the fries.
Wow.
And they would leave the plate there and move food around and change the name. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the kid running the football into the stadium. But the video before that with all the others, I thought that was cool. So
see, I missed that one too. I think my favorite one was the Pak and Yaka, that one, of course, but also the
that was good.
Was it the Lorraine about the guy who his wife had passed away and he was trying to get Google to remember that? Oh my gosh,
pictures, kind of.
I just remember sitting there and there were probably like 20 people at that party, and the whole room got like so quiet during that commercial. Everyone was glued to the TV. Well, like, it was incredible.
The reason why that's going to be one of the more impactful commercials is because everybody had to stop to figure out where it was going.
Yeah.
The McDonald's one was easy. Hey, everybody eat a McDonald's. Park a car. That's easy. Buy the car. It's new. Cool. You can do this. But when they started showing him talking about it, I guess his dead wife, what she loved to do, what she was like, he had to stop for a second and try to figure out where it's going, which is a sign of a brilliant commercial. And people stop at a party like, what is,
It was cool. And then there was that one, remember, where we couldn't figure out what it was. So but it had the website, and I pulled out my phone and did exactly what they wanted me to do, was to pull up that.
It's a takeoff on Fargo, the lady making her website at the Winder, Minnesota city. Yeah,
I didn't
tell you how we
it.
retain information. Neither one of us can remember.
I just remember something like Square.com or Square something.
Yeah.
I never understood those commercials. Great. Wow, you got into.
Yeah.
Oh, what was this about, though?
Right?
You mean the blonde in the bikini in the car commercial, and you couldn't remember what car it was? Yeah, that's exactly.
No,
right.
I mean,
you remember the color of the bikini, though, don't
you? You can't think. I mean, what was it for? Yeah, you gave a good story, but what as far as I'm concerned, they missed. The bus.
I'm with you. Staring at the wrong shiny object. Hey, look at the blonde on the hood. Yeah.
So many places that we could go with that. Speaking of places and getting your brand out and getting people to see your company and just visibility of your company, I know you're very involved with BNI, or you wouldn't be, producing and doing, not producing, but you wouldn't be doing the Triangle.
He does the hard work.
Podcast.
I just show up. I get the easy part. I am not gets a hard job. So.
What kind of made you lean toward BNI, and what do you feel like you get out of it, and what do you feel like you have to put into it?
I get a lot out of it. I first joined BNI. This would have been, we started a cleaning company 2012. I left AMF 2013. So I think this might have been late 2013, early 2014. I got invited to a networking event at PNC Arena. Okay, I'm now doing full-time commercial cleaning. Well, let me go there. And so you walk in, and there's the sponsors along the wall, and you get the bingo card. And hey, if you go see every sponsor, you put your card in for the drawing. I have no idea what the drawing was. First couple sponsors you meet, I have no idea who they are, which tells you the impact they had on me. And I get to the next third or fourth sponsor, And it's Brian Richardson with Ameriprise, who is my financial advisor. And we did not know each other. And Brian and I get to talking, and he goes, "So are you in BNI?" As one of his first questions, because he was in it. And I said, "Well, if you tell me what BNI is, I'll tell you for a minute," because I'd never heard of BNI before. And we started talking baseball. He's a Red Sox fan, and I'm a Houston Astros fan. And to this day, matter of fact, we talked about it last week. That's our connection to it. But that was and so then I visited his chapter, which meets at Linwood Grill now, RD23 on Wednesdays at 11:35, I think. Good group. Curtis Webster's been on the show. Ricky Treffer, the realtor's been on the show from
Your
here.
memory always just blows me away.
Anyway. So that's what I first got out of when I first heard about BNI. And my brother and I actually grew the commercial cleaning and the pest control business in BNI. But what I get out of BNI, and this show's a perfect example. I've been wanting to do a show like this. What is this, February of 2020? By the way, yesterday was a palindrome, 02/02/2020.
Isn't that totally
For those of you who don't know, if you flip it back and forth, it says the same numbers. And I told Becky yesterday, some idiot parents are going to name their kid palindrome because they were born on that day. I promise you, in 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, you are going to hear about that.
But you could shortcut it pal or pallet.
Exactly. Yes. That's what she said too. But I promise you, there's going to be a kid born 9 months from yesterday that's going to have a name palindrome because they're going to trace it back to yesterday. That's my take on society, but somebody's going to do that. So where were we?
BNI and getting into it.
Oh, yeah. So I'd been wanting to do a show like this. I've been doing this show since July of 2018. Love it. My favorite hour of the week every week is doing this show. And I'd been talking about what?
You have a wife too, you know?
She knows, again, people.
Well, he spends
not
more than an hour.
She's at work. She's at work, yeah. We're 34 years, dude. We're way past that. Yeah, okay. So she would be surprised if I didn't say that. So, but I've been doing, I think this will be episode number 73, but I've been trying to get this show a year before that. And I kept asking people because I needed this production element of it that I didn't have. Yeah. Jim Bowdish says, go find Amnon. We do that. So what this show has done for me, it's allowed me to do this, which I love because everybody's got stories. Yep. And I enjoy, while I kid people kind of that I talk about me for an hour, I love the other part of it because I want to hear other people's stories because everybody's got good stories. They just don't think they're good. So this show has allowed me to chase a dream of mine. It has allowed me to develop relationships in BNI. It has allowed me to meet my first business coach, Karen Atilas, who was on here that helped me get my speaking started. It has allowed me to get to know Trinity better, who's now my coaching partner. And it's allowed me to get to know the title sponsor of the show, Oak City Tech, Drago Braddock, better through this show because he was on the show. So that's what this show and BNI has done for me. Yeah. And I just, so I can trace a lot of things back to the show, but it's just allowed me just to talk. I just want to get paid to talk every day.
And Jim Bowdish is.
And Jim's in BNI. Jim and I grew up here together. If you know Jim Bowdish with Edward Jones, his dad was so funny, but Jim and I talked about that. We'll do that another time. But Jim knew a lot of people. I said, Jim, you know a lot of people. I need somebody that can produce a show for me. He goes, call Amnon. I'm like, okay. And
can you say the phrase again, chasing your dreams? Because that, I don't know why, but it just gave me goosebumps.
It is. I've been wanting to, my degree was in broadcasting. I knew when I graduated from Tennessee in May of 1983 that I was going to do
memory. Holy crap.
That I was going to do college football play-by-play on radio, and they were going to pay me to talk the rest of my bleeping life. And you know what? That didn't happen. Life took over. I've got a wife of 34 years, 2 boys, a grandson, a daughter-in-law. I got no complaints whatsoever. Been to some great cities, great, wonderful jobs, no problems with that. But I wanted to get back into doing this, and this has allowed me to do that. And it's, I've got this podcast, got another podcast, trying to develop a speaking business, and just, you just start. Yeah. And we tell people that just start. Because I came in and met with Amnon. He goes, look, these are the 4 or 5 things I need from you to get started. And I'm giving him all these questions. He goes, just show up. Let's just get it started.
Smart man.
And it was the best advice. Just show up. We'll get it started. We'll figure it out. And we did. The first couple shows, the guests would come sit down. before we went live, and I would start getting into my questions. And yeah, so now I don't. They come in here and they sit down before we go live, and I just say, "How was your weekend?" They tell me, and we talk other things that we're not going to talk about on the show. But that's what I learned. Things like that. Just start. Yeah. Just start.
I'm going to go back to the dreams just because for me, and just the point that we are in our career, but not only for us, but for our family, because we're at the point where 2 of them, they just started college and it's an open world for them. Yep. We just had one that's a freshman in high school. And again, the world's just opening up. So dreams, it's a huge word that's in our household right now. So Mike Manning.
Yes.
Father, friend, grandfather, husband.
Oliver's the man.
Yes. What dreams are left for you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, to get paid regularly to talk, whether it's in a podcast or speaking or training, and I enjoy that very much. To get both of my boys to have more kids, so I can have a bunch of great. Oh, Becky just rides my. Yeah, you gotta quit saying that. So, and just to help people get to the point where they want to be, because I know where I've been small business wise and what I'm still trying to do, because I'm 58 and a half, folks. I am nowhere near done. So this age thing doesn't play anymore. I don't care what age you are. If you still got the mental capacity to do it, we can still do it. There's a post the other day, Mike Bertino, our solar energy friend,
love him,
posted on there about, I think somewhere in Europe, they did a study that 40-year-olds should only be working 3 days a week. Anybody over 40 should be working only 3 days a week. And I'm like, that's crap. Said, well, I can run circles around all these young kids all day long with a bad back and carrying Oliver through the day. That ain't going to happen. So age, I don't want to hear age from anybody. So I'm 58 and a half. I'm just getting started. One of my topics I talk about is it's okay to be a late bloomer. Yeah, I don't buy numbers don't matter anymore. If your health is still good, you can do it. The internet is free. It's free. So you can create your own website. You can do your own marketing. You can do your own social media. You can get the word out. You can go to free networking events. Yeah, I don't buy that for a minute. So even with kids your age, it's the same thing. What do you want to do? Not what people tell you to do, what you think you can do. In a perfect world, if money didn't matter, what would you want to do? And then when your 17-year-old says, I want to do this, like, okay, here's a business plan we're going to write out. Yep. All right, so what are you going to do? What do you think you need? Let's talk and just work through that plan with them so they understand. But I don't buy any more that, and there's some things that can't be done. I get that. I'm not saying, it's anybody's free, world they can, because this not, probably not going to make $2 million a year. I'm okay with that, but I'm past that point. I wouldn't know what to do with that much money anyways. I've never had anything near that. So, but if you want to do something, put the plan together. Chances are, if you ask enough people, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, you know my mom, Nikki, a little bit. I'm trying to get into this business. I'm 18, just out of high school. I want to get it started. She said that I should give you a call, and I wonder if there's any help you could offer me or any suggestions for me to do that. Most people, come on in. Let's sit down. We're going to make lunch. We're going to talk. Most people would help that kid or would help that person. So just ask somebody else. If you would do it for a friend would do it for you. Plain and simple. So just ask.
It's crazy. We literally word for word had that conversation with both of our boys this past week. So it's I'm definitely going to make them watch this, because I think it always, if we say it, it's stuff that we say all the time, where that, it just doesn't have the same power.
No, nobody listens to parents.
Else.
No,
I know.
kids,
why?
No.
It's not like we've learned anything.
My boys are just now thinking I kind of know, more than 1 through 10. And and I can get all the way through the alphabet. So, yeah. But I'll meet both of them out for,
They would love that. And then I know
we'll go get a Biggie Sweet Tea or Bojangles, so wherever they hang out.
No chocolate chip cookies?
Yeah, that too. I don't want to go to a skating park because I don't skate. I'll throw my back out. But let me go somewhere where I can sit down and talk. Be more than happy to, but that we're supposed to pay it forward. And that might take an hour.
Yeah.
And what the hell? It's an hour. So I'm helping out because one day they'll be in a situation to help. But if you want to do something, people, just ask a friend who knows even remotely about it. Just ask. And we just beg people to do that.
Well, Mike, I cannot tell you how awesome it was to flip the tables on you today. I think you said a lot of great things. A couple of things that stuck in my mind were, one, just do it.
Yeah, just start.
As I say, just freaking do it.
Yeah, really.
To surround yourself with people that are better than you, because you will learn from them. And 3, one of the biggest things I learned was just never quit dreaming. And I love that you brought that up. And there's so many other good points that you made, but those were really the 3.
Well, thank you. But this show is perfect example. I don't need to tell you anything more other than if you're watching this show, this is a dream of mine. Been wanting to do this for a long time. I had to meet the right people, right time. I'm a big time and place guy. There's a reason why this didn't happen 8 years ago. Totally get that. But again, I'm young. My back hurts. I'm a young 58 and a half. My back hurts, but the mind is still 18, still getting into trouble. So. But thank you for subbing for me today.
Thanks for asking.
And good luck, folks. If you need a home inspector, go to thehomeinspector.com, and Nikki and Charlie will take good care of you.
It's actually the homeinspector.team.
.team. Sorry, I keep getting that wrong.
Was taken. It's totally okay.
So thehomeinspector.team. And Nikki and Charlie will take good care of you because I only have good people on the show. You know that. So, and thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next week on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.